All right, welcome back to Reseller Unscripted. And let me tell you right now, you are not going to want to pause this episode. You're not going to want to stop until we get to the end. All right. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ryan from RNZY with us. And Ryan and I have never met in person. We had about a 5-minute conversation before this, but I can tell you a lot about this man. I can tell you he's a legend at social media. He does something totally different than a lot of people do that are on Whatnot. He is a wealth of knowledge, and he cares a lot about educating everybody and being very, very transparent. Two things that Ari and I are very, very serious about. So I will let him introduce himself, and we'll see where the episode takes us.
Dusty, Ari, I appreciate you both, man. Thanks for having me on, and thank you for the kindness in the intro. Lindsay and I have been full-time resellers since 2017. Started on Facebook Marketplace, just meeting people locally at the grocery store. We would source stuff at the bins. That grew into Poshmark. Then we were on Poshmark for 5 or 6 years, selling used shoes. And then we saw this whole live selling thing starting to happen. So we watched about 100 YouTube videos on Whatnot. And it was a lot of card sellers talking about Whatnot. And we jumped in with our used shoes back a little over 3 years ago now. And we started Whatnot with used pre-owned shoes. Then we went to brand new shoes. Then we made a transition into brand new new with tag apparel. And then we added small batch consumable products from local companies here in Maine. And it's been full steam ahead. This is how we pay all our bills. We've got 2 amazing children. My daughter just turned 4. My son's about to turn 2. We started this business when we were dating, boyfriend and girlfriend back in the day, and apartment to apartment. And then eventually we bought our first house. And then we grew out of that house. And now you're in my basement right now. We work out of the basement. We do multiple millions of dollars per year working out of the basement. We do retail arbitrage. We also do small batch consumable. We wholesale those products. So everything that I'm going to share today is repeatable by anyone, whether you have $0 or lots of dollars, because we started with $0. And I'm excited to chop it up. I want to give you guys your flowers. Between the two of you and what you guys have done on Whatnot, you guys have over 820,000 items sold, which is like absolutely insane. And so I want to give you guys your flowers. And I've obviously been watching you guys and your accounts. You guys got multiple accounts and the teams that you guys have grown. So kudos to you guys and what you have built. And I've been very inspired by it as well.
I think that's the coolest thing. Ari and I talk about that a ton, that a lot of the stories start from nothing. There are very few people that I have talked to on Whatnot that started with a huge following or started with a ton of money that, grandpa passed away and gave me a bunch of money and I started with, all these things or all these connections or avenues. It just seems like it's an individual who decides, hey, I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to go all in and I'm going to give it everything I got. And then slowly they just build it up and build it up and build it up. And we talked about that a lot. Actually, we were trying to record, apologies. We tried to record an episode last week. The individual that we were recording with ended up losing signal halfway through. So we did not put that episode out. We will re-record that, but that's why we weren't on last week. But we were talking about that a ton with them, about just like starting small and just scaling everything that you do a little bit more, find a little more buyers and turn it into something that's amazing. And it's so cool to hear stories like that where you started, 8 years ago and you just grew it from one app to another app. And then you altered, you changed things, you brought on new things. And it's that dog, it's that fight, that want to be the best. And I think that's so cool, but you do it different than almost anybody that I've seen do it. So explain your process a little bit more. You mentioned retail arbitrage. There's a lot of viewers that probably don't understand what that means. So maybe dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah, so retail arbitrage is simply buying from retail outlet locations. The stuff we buy, anyone else can buy as well. It's for the same exact price point. There is a science to it that you learn over time. But essentially, whether it's a Nike outlet or whether it's a Burlington location, what we have found is that there is consistency in the price points that are offered by these high volume locations, and it's key to find high volume locations because that's where you're going to find the consistency in your buy cost.
Mhm.
Now, the prices may change and there may have additional sales and all that, but it is pretty consistent over time, which allows you then as the seller on Whatnot to create what I'm going to call basically a Whatnot system that you layer on top of an already proven sales model. I'll give you some real examples. So when you walk into a Burlington location, there's literally hundreds, I think there's even over 1,000 Burlington locations around the country. You're going to find great brands. You're going to find Nike, you're going to find North Face, you're going to find Carhartt, you're going to find all the things, the brands that we love to sell, but also all the brands that everyone already knows. And you're going to find them at a consistent price point. Then what we do is we source at these locations, or we have our team source at these locations specific to our sales data, but then we layer a Whatnot filter on top of that. Obviously a little bit higher price points, but not a lot. Healthy margins, but not too much more. They're still getting way below what the item retails for. And what you're essentially offering through retail arbitrage selling on Whatnot is curation for your community and convenience. So they don't actually have to go jump in the car with their kids and go to the store. I don't know if you've ever shopped at a Burlington location. It's absolute chaos.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's chaos. And so you're providing the convenience, obviously for a little bit of a premium price, and you're curating with respect to your audience on Whatnot. And this is why I share so freely what we do, is because one, a lot of people aren't willing to go source those locations just because of the labor that it takes. And two, we could have the same exact items and get different results based on the community that we build on Whatnot. And that's where the curation comes into play. So we've got a whole list of buyers and we know exactly what sizes and styles they want.
Mhm.
As we start our stream, we're connecting with those consistent buyers. And then as new people come into the stream, they're saying, holy smokes, what's this guy doing in his basement? Hundreds and hundreds of sales are coming through. I'm going to stick around and see if there's something that I like. And then, of course, over time, as you're going through these selling cycles, you're bringing on new people into your community. And it becomes a really healthy, very predictable, profitable cycle, again, with your sourcing and with your selling, that allows us to build a very profitable business out of our basement. And so to sum it up, retail arbitrage is literally sourcing at retail locations. The arbitrage is the profit that you're going to make when you sell it on Whatnot. And then I can talk a little bit about the wholesale stuff. I keep pointing over here, but we sell like whole small batch products like goat milk soap from a local farm. We sell chocolates from a chocolatier based out of Rockland, Maine, and stuff like that. It's very similar because we do clothing. It's very similar to a checkout at a grocery store where there's stuff at the checkout where we've got flash sales kind of running in the background and people can add on to their apparel purchases. So that's it in a nutshell. And it's I can geek out on this stuff all day with respect to exactly how to do it, but essentially you're taking a proven sales model. We use Burlington. Each store does tens of millions of dollars per month, and so they've got a buyer base. They've proven these products sell, and then you're creating the convenience and the curation, and that's how you earn your profit on Whatnot.
I honestly have to give you your flowers too, because I've been watching you since literally when I started this. I would always go into your shows. Like, you've always been somebody that's like, I tell Dusty this. I've told so many people, like, RNZY is the real deal. Like, I told my fiance we were having this podcast. She's like, oh yeah, like this is like the big one. But like, your model is just so interesting. Not only is it like the whole part of retail art, you're great at curating.
Right.
Every single show you have, you know what your community wants. Like, I remember you have like North Face cinchillas, Patagonia cinchillas, this jacket, like when you're going into a RNZY store, it's like a RNZY boutique.
Right.
Like, if I'm coming into your room, like I know exactly, like I'm excited for what I'm going to buy. It's like, what does he have today? And like, your model works so well because, one, you've built a solid community of people that trust you. And me and Dusty talk about this all the time. Whatnot is about community. If you're not going to immerse yourself in the community, then you're not going to be successful. You might find transactional success, but you're not going to find long-term success. But the whole point, like, that is just always interesting me too, is just like, it's so amazing to just always have like the best product. Like you truly do have the best product and you have a proven model. So you're not on the hamster wheel, always trying to find that best product. Where like in my business, I'm always looking for the next deal and
Right.
then doing it again tomorrow and then doing it again tomorrow and always looking for that next deal. With retail arbitrage, it's just so amazing hearing you the way you speak about it. It's because like, yeah, you know what? I want to go get some North Face jackets, some Patagonia jackets, some Columbia titanium. Like, what does the chat want?
Right.
Because you're the guy that can like provide it. So it's like super cool. And like I've talked about your model with so many people in the past, and I think it's we call it the RNZY model.
Sweet.
Literally the RNZY model for a reason. And
Well,
like, you know, what you've done with like adding on to the average basket size too, like
right.
how, you know, at Whole Foods when I'm checking out and I'm like, wait, I need to get this and that, like having those items there, it's just it's genius.
I mean, I appreciate the kind words. I think there's a lot of people that are doing what I'm doing. They're just not as vocal about it. I think the traditional, especially when you're brand new on Whatnot, is like dollar starts. And we started off the same way. When we first started, I didn't even know that you could do higher starts. I didn't even know it was like a thing. And
Yeah.
so we've to date, we've sold 121,000 items, but our first 15,000 items was dollar starts. And we realized we were doing pre-owned shoes, and the one thing that caught us off guard was the volatility with respect to like the same item. So the same item one day could sell for a couple bucks. Literally the next day it could sell for like $80. And of course you want the $80 sales, but it was very hard to create a predictable model when doing dollar starts. And so we tried the higher starts at the very beginning, and then it took us a couple weeks of trying different price points and figuring out what was our solid thing. And so we've landed on the price points that we have now, pulling from both sides. What price point can we offer our community on Whatnot where we only need one bid to be profitable? But also, we want to have that consistent price point. We had to make sure we had consistent price points in what we were buying. And so after trial and error, we figured out some consistencies in that buy cost, as I was talking about earlier, at the high volume locations. So we could always offer hoodies for $39 because we're sourcing them for $25 or less. We also wanted to create a price point that made sense for our buyers. We weren't just like jacking up the price. So the hoodies we sell retail for 60, 70, 80, sometimes over $100, but everyone knows the starting price is going to be at $39. So people stop thinking about price point because over time they realize it's a great price, and they just think about, and this is the important part, they start communicating with me exactly what they want. So, you know, North Face, Carhartt, Patagonia, Nike, they know that's what they're getting when they come in. So when they come in, they're like, what do you got in men's 2XL in a blue? What do you got in? And then of course, come the holidays, it's game over now. Like we have people buying their gifts galore because they know the quality's there. They know the price points roughly that they're going to spend with respect to a little bit of bidding going on. And it becomes, you're one buyer. Instead of them buying one item, it turns into 10, 12, 15 items per stream.
Absolutely. I feel the same way.
I think that I want to sum up a few things. There was so much in the last 10 minutes. Again, if you guys tune out at any point in this episode, you are doing yourself a disservice. And I'm not just saying that because I want watch hours and I think our podcast is cool. Genuinely, if you are that new seller and you are tuning in and you are trying to figure out how to build a channel, one of the biggest mistakes that Laura and I made, and we've talked about it a ton, starting everything at $1 because we thought that was the only way that we could build a room. Look at this. No warehouse, right? No warehouse. No $1 starts outside of his first portion. He does it on his own schedule. Very concrete, from my understanding. You've built a dedicated following doing that exact thing by listening to your customers and creating a culture. Those are all the things that we talk about. And Ryan is right here as a living example of doing that. He stuck to his guns. He built a model that was successful. He didn't listen to the social culture of, I got to start at $1. No one's going to follow me. No one's going to watch. No one's going to do these types of things. I'm going to listen to my customer, and I'm going to create a product and a model that makes sense for me and still gives them a good deal while being successful doing it. That's so good. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I appreciate that summary. And if you're listening to this too, also what happens from this, once you start building momentum, I always use the reference of like a cruise ship. It's very hard to start a cruise ship. If it's at port and it's, it takes, a lot of engines, a lot of momentum. But once you get that thing going, it's extremely hard to stop it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the whole point. You want to build something that's enjoyable, and it will take time. I mean, we had 2 or 3 people in our streams in the beginning, and then eventually it became 5 or 6 because we were taking care of the 2 or 3, and then eventually it became 15 or 20. In addition to that, when you start a cruise ship of higher starts and you start to build that really dedicated community, all your operational costs go down because you have profit on every single item. You are making a tremendous amount of money, but you don't have to source as much items. So the reason I emphasize that point is because a lot of the people that reach out to us, they assume we have a warehouse. They assume that, you know, there's a lot going on. And then during my streams, I literally I'm in the basement. I walk out of my basement window and into my backyard. And I'm like, this isn't a warehouse. Like, now, listen, you guys both, I have a lot of respect for you guys. You can do some big business with a warehouse, but what I'm trying to answer is a lot of DMs about, hey, I've got an apartment and I want to pay rent, but they think that they can't in the apartment. So with a very small amount of square footage and with less sourcing the right stuff, you can pay all your bills and then some.
Absolutely.
With this type of model.
1000%. And like I talk about this every morning in my morning talk show, because like they're like, where do we start? Where do we buy a pallet? Like, calm down. You don't need to buy a pallet to start Whatnot. Sell what's in your closet. We all have so much stuff that is in your closet.
Yeah.
You don't need these high end, like, don't start at $1 either. Like, and you don't need all this space too. Honestly, having a warehouse is more headaches at the end of the day. Like, the more you add, the more headache it is. Like, I wish my business was just myself, my amazing fiance, her sister, and then some other people. I want to keep it small. But what the chat doesn't understand and our listeners don't understand is that you don't need all this stuff. You need a ring light, a smile, and consistency. Like what you said, like you go live at the same time every single day. Your customers know the inventory that they're coming into, and they know what it's going to start at, and they know what the vibe's going to be. Consistency versus transactional business.
Yeah, and I
Really
think one of the
build a
big. Oh,
relationship.
sorry. Go ahead, Ari.
Well, no, go ahead.
One of the biggest things that I pulled out is the consistency of your model. You're buying it at 25, you're selling it at 40. That's our thing. If it goes above it, it's a win.
Yep.
And I think in our model, we're starting it at $1, and we're hoping that over time we're gonna win. And it's like this.
It's a trade
all the time where it's like, okay, I'm running shoes right now, and I bought them for like $6, and the first 4 go for $4, then one goes for 25. Okay, my average is up a little bit, but it's this roller coaster all the time of like, can we win on this big buy, instead of buying something intentionally and knowing, hey, I have a customer for this and I know exactly what they'll pay, and sometimes I'm going to get even more than that. That's such a great model, and you built that because you were intentional with it. You decided that's the model that I'm going to build, and that's the client that I want. And a lot of really successful Whatnotters do that. They set a precedence. This is my product. This is my vision. This is what I want to do. And that's the type of buyer that they're attracting. When you start things at $1 or you try to be somebody that you're not, you're going to attract people that aren't going to be a good customer for you. As soon as you change your model or find out dollar starts aren't working for me, now I'm going to pin it, they're gone.
Yeah, it is a different following. I also want to give you credit. I popped into your guys' stream the other day. You're doing the Pajar boots, but you were doing higher starts, and it was crushing.
Dusty. Yes, Dusty.
Ari's been on us about starting higher, and Laura and I are literally like, we talked a couple episodes ago, and like, we're just pulling our hair out because we created a monster. We started at $1. We built a massive following at $1. Everybody's expectation is that. So even I can start something at $1 and it'll sell for 27. But if I start that item at $25, everyone loses their mind, and it's just a culture mentality.
It 100% is. The culture changes the minute you do, and the people that want to listen. We've all seen a lot of transactions because we obviously all watch other streams as well. And I lived through we've sold 15,000 items for $1 years ago. Now, hey guys, I know yesterday we were doing dollar auctions, but I need to create some consistency. So guess what? It's higher starts today. I promise you it's worth much more than that. So your vocabulary becomes, wait till you see why we start these at 39. instead of like, oh God, we're going to start these at 39. And then eventually over time, all the people that want stuff for $4 are gone. And then all the people that are excited for the $39 starts are there. And it doesn't have to be black and white and binary like that. Like I when I saw the Pajar stream, I was like, yo, this is dope, because obviously those boots are worth way more than $50. So you were getting sales. Now, the thing that gets the seller though is it's a mental adrenaline shift, because instead of 1,000 sales, you might only get 200, but every single sale is profitable, and that means it changes the way that you source. So you have to source less. I mean, we always have. It looks like I have a whole jam packed full. We just brought in. We went to 2 stores, got 547 pieces, and all of them will be gone this weekend. I want to give some numbers to your community as well, but I also want to talk about the warehouse thing, because I don't want people to not strive for a warehouse, because I think that is it's a great place to go. My emphasis is you don't have to start with a warehouse. Like, I think it's a very good goal to build up, and there's lots of amazing, 2 businesses that are on the screen right now that are doing very well with warehouses. So I don't want to poo-poo on the warehouse scenario, but again, it's this mental block that people think that within their first month they have to have a warehouse and they got to be doing all this, pallet and stuff, and they don't have the skills that you guys have in acquiring the pallets or moving the pallets, so they end up fizzling out. And what I wanted to, emphasize is you should start with less than 100 items on your first, dozen streams, so that you can build the reps in what it's like to run a stream, and then you can curate that audience. 35 items a day at $10 profit is $100K a year profit. So like, you don't need to be selling a lot of stuff, and you can work out of your apartment. You can work out of that spare bedroom in your house, or you can work out of your basement and do some big numbers. And if warehouse is in your future, you can absolutely do it the right way.
And along with a warehouse, like we've talked about, comes an overhead.
Right.
The beauty of what Ryan is doing is his overhead is minuscule compared to what he is accomplishing. So the bigger it is, the more problems that can happen, the more ways it can go wrong, and the ways that you kind of trickle money. It's amazing when I look through my statement every single month, and I'm like, yep, it was $50 there and $50 there and $100 there, and then all of a sudden it's like, what in the world happened?
Yeah, it adds up.
So it's amazing to be able to own your space a little bit better. The bigger that it gets, the tougher that it is, and the more you have to rely on other people to do your vision.
100%.
When you said that you went to 2 stores and you grabbed 503 jackets, what does that even look
That's
like?
wild.
So it was 5. It's 500. I'll give you some real numbers, because I think people hear what I say sometimes and they think it's like a hyperbole, and I'm talking in general. So we went to 2 stores. We got 547 items. And there's way more opportunity. We did $1.9 million out of our basement last year. And all the inventory we got from that at 22% net profit, that's after paying the team, that's after paying everything, came from less than 20 stores.
Wow.
There's well over 6,000 really good retail locations, that like the genre of retail locations that I'm talking about. There's over 6,000, and we did 1.9 million out of our basement, going to less than 20 of those locations. Again, why I'm so passionate about telling everyone about this. Can you imagine if we went to 40 stores? Can you imagine if we went to 100 of the 6,000 stores? We're talking over $10 million business out of our basement. Now, there's lots of intricacies in there, and there's, with respect to curating for our audience, 547 pieces yesterday isn't even going to certain parts of the store. That's mostly hoodies, crew necks, and jackets. So like, there's so much opportunity in these locations. And when I say retail locations, I'm saying places like Burlington. Each Burlington location does like 10 million a month. So picture that. That's proven sales for what they're selling. Again, you're taking your whatnot filter, layering it on top of that inventory, curating for your audience, and it's game on.
You know what? Yeah. Go ahead.
I got a kind of a different pivot for you, because we've talked a lot about hiring and
Yep.
employees. And in my mind, your model is even more difficult to teach to somebody. You are
Yep.
asking somebody to go out and find profitable items and source for you. Right now, I make all the buys and I trust people to sell those things. You're going the opposite way and you're trusting people to get the things that you're going to sell. How do you train them? How does that process look like? Do they have a cheat sheet that they go off of, or a guidance of what they're looking for? Has it just been an overtime of like, hey, come with me, I'm going to coach you, and you've kind of turned them into that?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal question, and it has accumulated over time. And we built out a sourcing team starting years ago. My daughter just turned 4, but when my wife was pregnant with our first child, I was traveling the country, going to all these stores. I would leave for 2 or 3 days. I'd come back with a whole van full of all the inventory. And we realized very quickly that that wasn't going to work when we started having kids. I want to be there for every single moment of the kids. So we said we got to build a sourcing team. So years and years ago, we started building a sourcing team. Now, yes, we train them. Yes, we have a game plan before they walk into the store, because I know exactly where to go in the store. I know exactly what to look for, and we give them a game plan. And then they're literally texting us what they see while they're in store, and we're approving every single piece.
That's
We also in the past have hired out a buying manager. So all our teams will message our buying manager that we have trained, and the buying manager says yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So it's essentially replicating ourselves while in store. Now, there's a couple of things that make this work. We over communicate exactly what is expected. We don't want them to guess on what to buy. I don't want someone going in there. They use our money to buy everything. And I'll explain the beauty in this, because we pay them very well, but our sourcing team is free. And I'll explain exactly how we do that. And essentially what they're doing, I mean, we're getting into like the Meta glasses type thing, where they're going to be able to just live stream while they're in store, and I'm going to be able to say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
The million
But
screens.
yeah, exactly. It's like boom, 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 boom. But essentially what we do is depending on the location, it varies. We have a very strict texting template. So, for example, if they're in like a Dick's Warehouse sale location, which is different than Dick's Sporting Goods, but it's the same business, they'll say, all right, here's a Nike hoodie in this blue. They've got 37 smalls, 24 mediums, and 8 larges. If we just thumbs up that means grab them all. If it's thumbs down, that means pass on all of them. Or if we respond to that text, we'll say, all right, based on our current inventory levels, grab 5 smalls, 18 mediums, and 2 larges. And so it's very, very quick in-store communication, which allows our team to source hundreds and hundreds of items. They get paid $1 per item. So on average, our team that's been with us for a while is making $400, $500, $600, $700 in an afternoon. And it's very efficient with respect to our sales data. Then again, that's through training. There's many filters before they go out in the field for the first time. A lot of these are resellers themselves that maybe they don't sell on Whatnot. Some of them actually do sell on Whatnot, or they are just passionate about buying. We have a wife of a doctor, and she tried selling on Amazon. She reached out to one of our ads for a sourcing team, and she said, I love to go in store and buy the stuff. I just don't like the other stuff. I don't like to list. I don't like to ship. I don't like to do all this other stuff. And so I think this would be great. And we said, this actually would be very good. And so she's very efficient and good in store. She makes a ton of money, and then she just goes home, drops all the stuff in boxes that we provide, and then UPS comes to her house and picks it up. It comes up to us in Maine, and we sell it. So long story long is, to answer all your questions, is yes, we've got very efficient systems that we teach people, and they do not go in store blind. They also don't go in random stores on random days. We know when to go so that they can get the most items. We respect their time. They can get a ton of items, which is good for us. They can make a lot of money in a short amount of time, but it's all backed on our sales data from the previous couple weeks.
And what I think is so brilliant is you're
Literally
for me,
dog
I
does
have to worry. I have to worry about overtime and raises the longer that somebody is there
bro.
and
Someone
that sort
showed
of
me how
thing.
much money today as
For
I was leaving.
you literally it's baked into what you're doing. Every single item I just pay $1 more for. That person does not work in overtime at all. Literally, they're paid based on the items that they get, so they can decide how much money that they want to make that day, and
Yeah.
it's no struggle for you because it's more
Yeah.
inventory for you that you're going to sell and make a profit on. It's brilliant. I love that.
Do you think it would work with like Saxall Fifth, Nordstrom Rack, any of these high, like other like fashion like kind of like warehouses? Like I buy a lot from sample sales, right? So like I contract with a lot of brands. When the brand finishes up, they ring me up and say, "Hey, here's the residual inventory. Are you ready to buy it?" It's literally a yes or no. Like it's an immediate thing. Like, "Are you ready to buy this?" And I'll be like, "Yes," or I'll be no. But you got my brain spinning now because like my background is like I'm very passionate about like clothing, shoes. I like things, right?
Yeah.
So like when I see things, like when I watch your stream, like I'm like, okay, this guy knows exactly what people want to buy. It's like a
Yeah.
skill. People like it's truly a skill. Like to look at a type of hoodie or something and be like, you know what, that is gonna sell. Like when I'm looking at a line sheet, I'm like, okay, that's gonna sell, that's gonna sell that. Well, I'm gonna get screwed there. But do you think it would work in a sense with like Nordstrom Rack, Saxall Fifth, like some of these other ones? And could you retail arbitrage? Let's say if I was to buy a Theory jacket for, I don't know, $79 and then go and sell it on Whatnot for like, a smaller margin? Because
Yeah.
there's
So,
Nordstrom Racks everywhere.
yeah. So 100%. And the key to any retail arbitrage is a couple different things. Trying to find high volume locations. Nordstrom Rack's a great example. There's lots of stuff coming in. A lot of stuff has to go out. In order for them to successfully do that, they have to create very consistent price points. You know what I mean? So like now I'm not talking like the penny sale at Nordstrom that you can get lucky. I'm not talking about like some of the markdowns. I'm talking when you walk in to a Nike outlet, you can traditionally find hoodies if you time it right, $25 or less, right? Now, sometimes they're more. That's the wrong day. But with respect to what you're saying, you have to marry consistent price points in the places that you or your team is going with respect to a consistent price point that you can offer your Whatnot community that is price anchored against the retail of that item. So there are people that do exactly what you're saying that do higher starts way higher than me, like $125 starts, like and out of respect for them, I won't say their name, but like I do talk about them all the time because they're an amazing example of what you're talking about, which is higher starts much higher than what we do because the item retails for like $400. So if you get a $125 jacket buying on Whatnot that retails 400. Now, also your community has to shift with respect to if you're doing dollar starts and then all of a sudden you throw up a random $125 jacket. It doesn't matter if it's a $8,000 jacket, they're going to be like confused. It's just buyer friction. When you go in the dollar store and something's $5, people are like, what the hell is going on here? This is the and I'm not saying, you know what I mean, like what I shop at the dollar store and I'm like, what the hell is this thing? It's $20. It may be worth way more, but I'm like, this is the dollar store. Why am I?
It doesn't belong here.
There shouldn't be 20. I could buy 20 items for this. So it would be, you would have to curate a specific stream to that type of setup, but it's 1000% doable.
Yeah, because like I talk to Dusty about this all the time, like because like I started my streams all for the dollar all the time, and it's like Dusty, you do the same thing too, but like it's a lot of like education to the audience. Like this is so nuts that you're getting this for $1, but like we really got to like when I'm selling Roan, right? I'm like this, like it is such a good brand.
Yeah.
Like it pains me to start it at $1, but it's like it was a shift to change it for people to start buying it at 27. Or like when we have Zadig and Voltaire, it's like we're starting it at $78. And the one thing that you said like that really resonates with me and Dusty a lot too is like the viewership in shows. A lot of people in shows are just standing around watching. I
Yeah.
am so okay having 40 people in my show. If I see 40 people in my show, I know those are 40 people that are waiting to buy. And I talk about this every morning in my morning shows. It's like because people always are wondering how to start out. Why aren't there buyers in my shows? Why aren't there buyers in my shows? It's not that there's not buyers in your shows. There's people that are in there that are ready to buy. It's not
Right.
like at the end of the day, having like 500 people in a show is great for optics, but like you're not, if you watch the bids, like I watch every single like every time I'm selling, I look at the bids. If I have 100 people in there and there's like 10 people bidding, I'm like, okay, that's 10% of the people, let me grab
Right.
another item. If I have 50 people in a show and 20 people are bidding on that item, you know, I'm always watching the bid.
Yeah.
If there's 10 people in a show, 50 people in a show, the number up here, obviously I don't want to offend anybody. To me, it's like, that's great. But like what really matters are the actual buyers that are buying in the show. And that's like what I talked to Dusty about. Like, dude, start your inventory higher, bro. Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
Well, I like what you touched upon with respect to viewership. We stopped even looking at that number a long, long time ago. I mean, the most people we've ever had in our stream was like 2,100 people. And it was chaos. It's absolute chaos. And what happens when the more people that are in your stream increases the opportunity that you're going to disappoint someone because you can't answer their question, or if they're requesting exactly what they want, maybe 75 other people have requested something and you can't. So it's imagine there was actually 100 people standing in front of you.
Yeah.
How many of those people, when they ask a question, can you respond to? Now, I'll give you some real numbers. I just said we've had 2,100 people. It was very difficult to figure out how to like function when there was that many people in the chat, and we were trying to sell stuff, and it was crazy. And then the chat was like arguing with each other. We have done 4.3, almost $4.4 million in sales at a 22% net profit margin. 95% of the profit we have made is with less than 100 people in the chat. Like, end of. It's way, and even when there's like 80 people, if 40 or 50 of them are communicating the way that I want them to, I'm working. I'm like, holy smokes, I got to make sure I respond to each person. I'm getting those requests in, and of course we're churning, and I stopped looking at the quantity of people in the chat, and I just try to get everyone that has shown up to communicate with me, whether it's where you checking in from, what size you looking for, what brands do you like, good to see you again. And that builds the depth without the chaos of thousands of people that are like, also you guys both know, and I know, to have that many people in your chat, you got to be doing some stuff. Like, you got to be doing some giveaways, you got to be
Some
like,
crazy things,
doing some crazy stuff, so that it's like your overhead. Okay, I'm gonna do another. We live in Maine. We used to give away orange lobster dunks all the time because we're living in Maine lobster. And so we would give away orange lobster dunks. They're like, at the time, they were like $600-$700 shoes, and tons of people would show up. And then when it was time to sell our other shoes, people were like, where's the free orange lobster dunks? Where's the rest of them? And I was like, I can't give away that much lobster, and Whatnot won't let me sell real lobster. So like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of overhead to keep that many people in your chat when you should just be focusing on the few that show up.
Yeah, Laura and I like went almost completely away from the tech giveaways and gift cards and things like that because we saw the same thing. It's funny we talk about the numbers because I literally have it on my list to go and put a Post-it note over the screen where the number of people that are in the room are for all my streamers.
Smart. That is so smart.
Because it literally, you can see it on everyone's face. Like and the chat knows it, and everybody knows it. It plays so much into our streamers' minds of like, well, my show just isn't going well because there's 40 people in here. But it's spot on, Ari. But those 40 people want to buy from you.
Correct.
Don't have a piss poor attitude because 40 people showed up instead of 400 people, because those 40 people showed up for you to buy items from you because they want what you're selling. So focus on those 40 people. Respond to the chat.
Like,
Make
you've never been in a store where there's 100 people in the store, like waiting around like
just
this.
lining up. Yeah.
Like,
It's
like a
such a
shot.
mental game.
I
Yeah,
feel
so
the same
I'm
way
putting
too.
Post-its on all my screens. We're just not going to look at how many people
You know
are
what?
in there anymore. You're just running a show and you're showing items and you have the best job on the planet.
Honestly, that resonates with me so much too, because like when I first started out, and then there's still some days too, and I know a lot of my streamers throughout the streamers that we've had, they've always been like, well, there's no viewers in the show. There's like, we just launched a new channel through my company that parents all of the channels. It's called Kim's Closet. And what Kim's Closet is an example of somebody that is just starting out of the blue. They're putting up real numbers, but it's not like 500 people on a show, 600 people.
Right.
Like the other day, I was selling Joe's jeans. I started them all at $27 a pop. We sold 517, in 4 hours. We did over $15,000 in revenue with a pretty good margin. So like, and that's just it, you don't need a lot of people in a room. Like,
Right.
don't go into a show like the thing is, you got to treat it. You got to treat every customer with so much love, and you got to be consistent with them. Like what Ryan does when somebody goes into a RNZY show. Hey, welcome back. Does not matter if you've even ever bought from him.
Right.
Or our cozy corner. Beth knows everybody in that show. When people come into my shows, we know all of you. Like I've had moderators that have been with me for 3 years now. I know customers if they just popping in. There's little things that make it work and whatnot. If you're listening, that you just got to do, and it's just simple. It might not sound simple, but it really is. It's interacting with your chat, reading the chat, and treating people nice and being consistent. That's it.
Yeah.
No.
It's also, you got to imagine if there was actual people standing in front of you. There's zero chance that one individual can take care of 200 people in front of them. Like there's just no, you know what I mean? In a very respectful way, where you're asking people for their hard-earned money, and you obviously want to get the most for the inventory that you possibly can. In order for that to happen, you have to provide an experience. It's very, very difficult, and you can see it. I'm not going to call out any big sellers, especially ones that are no longer with us, but like I've seen people that had over 1,000 people in their chat sell brand new shoes in good sizes doing dollar starts for like $8.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? It tells you they're not providing an experience. It's a great shoe and a great size, but the people are there for some insane giveaway that who knows if you're going to send or not. Like
Yeah.
it comes down to how many people can you handle if they're standing right in front of you, and it becomes a more enjoyable experience as a seller when you can communicate back and forth, and as a buyer when you know you've been heard.
And understanding that person is a human being. There is a literal someone that's that one number up on the top. That is a literal person that works a 9 to 5 or whatever, came home, jumped on their phone, and decided you, out of the 500 people that are live right now, are the one that they want to watch. And I think for me, like that's the biggest thing, is understanding I don't care if you have one person in your room. That one person chose to show up for you. So make it an experience for that person. Stop seeing that number as just like some social status up there, and realize that those are real people spending real hard-earned money in your channel because they want to be there. So give them that experience. Yeah, I think that's spot on.
Just to
Ryan,
piggyback what you said, just
go
one
ahead.
last thing. I
You're
always
good.
in our streams, 3 successful people right here. You can either be on Whatnot as a influencer, or you can be an actual business. And that's where you need to decide if there's 2 lanes of life that you want to go down in your business. Do I go the influencer route, or do I go an actual business route? And I promise you, the business route is going to be so much better.
Yeah, and the best way to build a profitable business is to be exactly who you are. Like you don't want to be a character. You don't want to be. I am very energetic. I get a lot of sleep at night, and so when we stream in the morning, I'm like, I've got all the energy for the day, ready to rock and roll. You do not have to be this boisterous, energetic. And there's plenty of sellers that have sold hundreds of thousands of items more than me, that are very calm, cool, collective. Elux is a great example. Attention to Retail is a great example. They've sold lots and lots of items, and they're very calm, and I'm jumping around and being a goofball, but that's naturally how I am. And the best way to build a profitable business over time, I want to emphasize that point. All of us are not here just to like sell stuff and not make money. Like there has to be put milk in the fridge. You got to be able to put milk in the fridge and support yourself. Whether you're a hobbyist or you want to support your family, you got to be profitable. And the more predictable we can get, the funner it gets. And the best way to do that is to be yourself.
Yeah, that's spot on. Ryan, I got 2 more things I want to touch on still, and I know we're kind of pressed on time. So one thing, and maybe it's just me, but you kind of touched on it at the beginning. I feel like I'm seeing a shift in a lot of larger sellers starting to look at the wholesale route instead of just liquidation. For us, we've started to curate shows. We've started to actually go to boutiques, curate shows, go and travel to fashion shows like Magic and find places and pick pieces out ourselves. You had mentioned the goat. So do you think, I feel like Whatnot has always kind of had this rep of kind of like being a Walmart, get everything for super cheap and snag all the $1 deals that you can. Do you feel like there is starting to be a shift in buyer mentality on the app of, hey, you can get the bottom of the barrel stuff, but you can also buy really nice stuff? And I feel like we're starting to see more buyers willing to pay a premium because they want nice quality stuff.
Yeah, here's how I'll answer it. I think the people that are doing higher starts or like a premium stuff aren't as vocal as the people who are, moving through thousands and thousands of items. When I first started on Whatnot, I was trying to weed myself out. And what I mean by that is I need to see proof that like there's no ceiling on this business model. We were doing Poshmark, everything was fine. We were paying all our bills on Poshmark, listing X amount per day. And when I first got on, I saw everyone was doing dollar starts. So I was like, oh my gosh, is this how I have to grow? And so that's why we were doing it. But weed myself out. I saw other sellers that had 1,000 people in their chat consistently all the time, every time. So the thought process is, I don't think I can get the inventory that they have. This is in the beginning. I was like, I don't think I can get the quality. So does this mean I can't even build my business? And so what I did was I started my streams at the same exact time as them. And I was like, listen, I'm either going to get weeded out very quickly, or I'm going to see that I can actually make money as this new guy that's selling stuff. And then of course I'm still here today. Like we're still selling stuff, and making more money than we need. I'll say, we're making more money than we possibly need with 2 kids. But with respect to the premium versus the wholesale and all that, 3 years ago, I saw a shoe seller do 100K in less than an hour. And I was like, okay, the reason I'm telling you that is I was like, there are people on this app that will spend money. I mean, one of his shoes sold for like 20 grand. It was some Air Mags. He was before it was called flash sales. He would put up a listing and there'd be a quantity 3 of some limited. It was like an Oklahoma Jordan 5 or something. And he was like, these are $500 each, and they would sell out instantly. And I was like, okay, there's proof. Now, if you go into some luxury bag sellers, you look at Dawn's Luxury. I think they sold a bag for like 30K the other day.
Yeah,
$30,000.
it was a Birkin.
Again, more in my world, I'll mention her again. Attention to Retail. I think she does an amazing job at curating stuff for her audience. She does like $120 starts, and she'll sell 100 items in a stream. And I don't know what her buy cost is, but I think she's a very intelligent human being that has a very smart business model. So she's definitely making her money. But all that stuff retails for a lot higher. So the long-winded answer is I think that, yes, there's tons of people that are doing what we're talking about with respect to a premium price point where you don't need to sell as much quantity and you can still make some great margins, providing a good experience for your following. But the loudest people and the people that are going to get the most attention, especially when it comes to Whatnot promoting people and all that, is going to be your dollar starts. Let's do 1,000. Let's do a monster giveaway. We're going to run through this stuff. We're going to hype it up. There's lots of accounts that have done that and faltered, with the backing of Whatnot, because, it's a lot harder to be predictably profitable. But I think curating with respect to stuff that's already proven outside of Whatnot, and then putting your Whatnot filter on, you guys get what I'm saying, like your price points on top of that. And then it just becomes, even if you have the same stuff, there's lots of people that sell North Face hoodies for like $18. They just lose money.
I say that,
you know what I mean?
It's literally like, I have a car dealership, Dusty has a car dealership, and Ryan has a car dealership. Your brand is what's going to sell at the end of the day. People come to watch us.
Yeah.
Ryan could sell a jacket for $75 and then somebody else might pay. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I look at Whatnot like this, and some people think I'm actually crazy for this. I don't see competition on Whatnot. We're all our own operators.
There's not.
There
really isn't. And listen, I'm glad that you just mentioned that. And this is coming from 3 people. I mean, you guys carry the brunt in this number, but like between the 3 of us, there's right around 1 million items sold. You guys got 880,000 of it. We got, we've covered 120,000 items sold. But with that said, there is no competition. It's an easy excuse to say that. And listen, I get why people think if you're struggling, because we struggled in the beginning, because we thought like another seller has 1,000 people in their stream and they've got the same stuff. There's no way I'm going to do it. I told you, I tried to filter myself out, weed myself out. Can I sell a North Face hoodie for $39? Oh my gosh, I can. Now we've done it tens of thousands of times. Can I sell a Nike jogger for $39 when everyone else is starting at $1? I can, because it's an $80 jogger and people are like, this is amazing, and he is talking to me as opposed to, screaming bid.
Let's go chat.
It's the
Right.
whole Instagram plague to me. You
Yeah.
see the one picture of someone's life and you're like, yeah, I want that. I can't wait to have that. There's only one you.
Right.
You are the salesperson. You are the one that's going to create or implode your own channel, and it all depends on what you want it to be, what direction you want to go. Kind of speaking of that, my last question for you. We haven't talked about this a ton on here, and you're a mastermind of it. Let's talk socials. How big has that been in your business? Is it a revenue creator for you, or is it more of a way for you to educate, or maybe it's all those things?
Yeah, so phenomenal question, and I'm gonna put like a little hot take on this. I think it's easy once you've spent years and years and years building a following on social media. If you're going into your first stream, it's easy to say, hey, come to my first stream and have a lot of people show up. But I think there's a big difference between following and buyers. Doesn't matter if someone has followed you for years, they still want a good price and they want you to take care of them. If they're going to spend their hard-earned money with you, it's different than a view. Someone will watch someone, cult-like fashion and watch you forever because it's a view. But if they're going to take out their wallet and spend money with you, you better have a good product. You better provide a good price point. You better ship very quickly. You better thank them. All the normal things in sales. Because we've seen people with millions and millions and millions of followers come into Whatnot and lean into that following and just assume, oh, this is my crew, and they're just going to spend way more money than they want. And they start something at $1 and it sells for $5. And they're like, what the hell's going on, guys? This is an Air Force One. This is a men's 11 Air Force One. And they're like, okay, what else you got? And then they fizzle out. So I think it was easier for us because before we got on Whatnot, we spent 5 years building a social media following, teaching. Again, our following has been built on educating people exactly what we do and how we do it, so that if you want to do it, great. But if not, you at least have heard from people that are actually doing it. So I think it's a double-edged sword. I think if you spend years building a following and you want to convert them into buyers, great. If you have zero following, I've seen some amazing, amazing sellers on Whatnot that have like 180 followers on Instagram. And what they lean into is, okay, the 3 people that have shown up, guess what? My name's Sally Joe, and I worked really hard to curate this stuff for you. I've got 47 pieces. What size are you looking for? And then the person's like, oh my God, this is crazy. There's 2 people in here. All right, what do you got in a women's XL? Oh my gosh, I got this beautiful garment. It's a women's XL. We're going to start it at $19. I thrifted it. It's beautiful. Boom, let's go. And then over time, oh, the sweet Sally Joe is taking care of their community. You go to their Instagram, they have 180 followers. They haven't posted in 3 years. But when you show up to their live stream, they're taking care of you. So by no means do you need a social media following to make a tremendous amount of money. It always comes down to the basics. And also those people that have millions and millions of followers doesn't guarantee financial success on Whatnot.
Yeah, we've definitely worked the other way around. We started with no social following. Now we finally just hired a social media manager, and they're actually studying you, Ryan.
Sweet.
You were the first name that I gave them, and I said, here, you need to learn as much as you can from this model, and let's create our own model. But it's interesting to me. It's something that I've talked about a lot. We're business guys, right? We're always looking for another way, like you moving from Poshmark to Whatnot. someday there's going to be another thing, and there's going to be
Yep.
another thing. For me, a social following is a way to keep up with my life outside of what we do, a way to educate, and a way for people to have like an inside look on what our day to day looks like away from just the camera. But as we've grown, we've been offered like marketing campaigns because of the growth of our channel. So it's an intriguing look at that. Since we spent no time on social media, it's like, man, should I have been spending more time building that presence up? Is that going to offer more avenues? So I'm curious on your side, you've got 45,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
Has that afforded you any different opportunities? Is it an income stream at all for you, or is it solely just a way for you to give back to the community?
It's definitely not an income stream. We don't make any money on our social media. We have had a lot of people reach out and say, hey, excuse me, I got a little something in my throat. We have had people reach out and say, I'll pay you X amount of dollars if you put a post up, and we kindly haven't taken advantage of any of that. I think attention is currency. I think it's the most valuable currency. We're talking about getting people in our live stream. What we're asking is for your attention to come see what we have to sell you. Same thing with social media. It's very difficult to grow if you focus on the quantity of followers and all that. And if you go into like the Gary Vee world now, you don't need a lot of followers present day to make a killing on Instagram. I have a fellow reseller on Whatnot that just put up a post. He normally doesn't get a lot of interaction. He put up a post recently and got like 1.5 million views on it.
Wow.
And I'm talking, most posts get less than 10 interactions. So like it's what Gary Vee preaches all the time with respect to, it's not about following anymore. It's about individual posts and what you're providing, and people do like that. It's the same thing with your Whatnot stream. The nature of a Whatnot stream. So the long-winded, well, first of all, if whoever you hired, if they want to ask us a bazillion questions, shoot us a DM. I'll answer all day. I'll send voice messages. We're a wide open book. Any way I can help them with respect to, I'm not going to pretend anything that I'm not. Like, I just try to educate people. I put in a little bit of humor, and that leads to an authentic following that's growing. But with respect to Whatnot and everything, I think it's not even about follower count. It's about how do you take care of the people that show up? End of. Like, how do you take care of the people that show up for that stream? How do you communicate with them in small sound bites? Because the nature of Whatnot is people are coming and going. And then how do you curate and create a price point that's valuable to you as the seller and valuable to the people that are buying? And just do that over and over and over again.
Love it. Yeah, our social, so it's actually my cousin. That's what he was hired to do originally in like January of this year, and then he became like the warehouse manager for the whole year. And now we're finally getting to a point where we can we've lessened those duties by just streamlining what we're doing. And so now it's a passion of his to create content that's funny and engaging and educational. And for us, it's a dual-edged sword too. The market share for Whatnot is still small, in my opinion. You look at the Japanese market of live selling, it's massively different than our US market. And so I want to do my part too of bringing people in and showing them. I'm talking about the single mom who doesn't think that she has enough money to make it through the holidays. Well, we've gotten messages every single year about, I wouldn't have been able to do Christmas without you guys. And being able to pay that forward is so incredible to us. So being able to reach out in our local community was kind of where we started. We created a storefront this year, and we're like, man, I want to get involved in our community. We want to give back. We did a fundraiser this year for a family in our community. And so for me, socials, like, that was the start to it. And now I want to build it beyond that, which is why we started this podcast, a way to give back, a way to tell people you can do this. The street guys right here started from nothing and created something incredible, and we're not that great. Honestly, we just stuck with a motto. We didn't give up, and we wanted it, and we just kept wanting it, So socials for me are a way to encourage, a way to bring people in, and a way to hopefully generate more income to provide for more families on my staff and beyond. So that's cool. I just was very curious because you actually have a social following, and I definitely do not right now. So I was intrigued to see your take on how much of a difference that's made for you and your business model.
Yeah, I think I will say that we have said no to plenty of financial opportunities. And it's just my personal rub. That's it. So like, you don't need a big following to start getting these big opportunities that you can take advantage of. And I also think we're primed right now in a 2025 world as we head into 2026. It's not about follower count, which is like very hard to grow. It's about quality of the piece. And I'm not saying production quality. I'm saying like, what message are you getting across? And what you just said is a perfect clip for a reel with respect to the mom that's struggling through the holidays. And thank you so much, because then you become the beacon of all the other parents that struggle through the holiday. And so get, your warehouse manager that's going to be, putting content out. I think it's about volume, and you're going to see stuff that starts to work as opposed to trying to create the perfect piece every time. It could be just like he runs in and he's like, yo, say what you said on that podcast real quick. Just say it again. Go. And he records it. And then it's just you in the office saying, hey, this is why we're passionate. This is why we're even putting out social media, is because we want to connect with you. That mom or that dad that may be struggling, and we want you to come into our streams, and you're going to get an amazing price point on some really amazing stuff. As people already have, we've got 300,000 sales. So come in and see what we're all about, because we want to take care of you. Boom. There's your reel that you put out on Instagram or YouTube short that connects on a very real level, as opposed to like a camera that's polished and then you've got the filter and the B-roll that rolls in. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
One take.
Yep.
Yep. Well, I want to be respectful of your time. I definitely think that we need a round 2 for this.
Count me in.
I feel like there's so much that we can talk about, and we really appreciate you being here. You are a wealth of knowledge, somebody we've looked up to genuinely throughout our whole adventure on Whatnot. You are doing a service to the community, and on top of it, you're providing for your family, and that's the greatest thing. You're being a dad, you're being a husband, you're providing, and like, it's the coolest thing. It's the best feeling in the world to be able to do that and help other people do that too. So we appreciate you being part of the podcast. If you got any closing remarks, have at them.
Well, listen, I appreciate you both. I feel grateful to be growing alongside you guys. I mean, I think there needs to be more of these types of conversations, so I appreciate you guys setting this up. Obviously, thank you for inviting me on. If there's anything I can do when you're watching this, any questions I can answer, you can reach out to us on Instagram. It's RNZY now, one word. RNZY was taken by like some New Zealand sailing team or something. I don't know. So it's RNZY now, or you can literally shoot me a DM on Whatnot. It's a little harder to get through the DMs on Whatnot because there's a lot of riffraff going on in the Whatnots, but the DMs. But shoot me a DM, ask a question. I'm always going to answer. Everything's an open book. The opportunity is so silly. It's so silly how big the opportunity is to make sure you make all the money you need in a very healthy way. And so that's what we're doing up here in Maine. And if I can answer any questions after this, please let me know. Count me in for number 2 whenever you guys want. I love chopping it up with you guys. And again, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Ari, you got anything for us?
Honestly, the only thing that I was wondering is like, what's next? What's next, Ryan?
Well, and I really do appreciate that question. I'm an addict to this stuff with respect to bigger numbers, bigger, more. And this is where my wife perfectly balances me out. And we meet in the middle with respect to making more money than we need and doing it in a very efficient way so we can do what we want to do, which is spend time with our kids. Most of our day outside of 2.5 hours of streaming is spending time with our kids. And so now that they're getting in the age of all these extracurricular activities, we're about to start swim lessons with my daughter, is creating even more efficiencies in our business so that we can hit our goal financially in as few minutes as possible. And so what that looks like is more streamers. I'll have some more questions for you guys as we go into that realm. More streamers and hiring a bigger sourcing team, because hitting 2 million going to less than 20 stores, the opportunity is too big to not hire a team to hit 100 stores.
Yes, sir. Well, you hit us up and you let us know. We're trying to figure out the scaling thing.
We all are. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, as always, thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully, you guys at least took a little bit from here. If you didn't take a lot of it, I would rewind the whole episode and watch it back, because this man's a wealth of knowledge. We appreciate having you on here, and tune in for next week's episode. I believe we're going to try to get our liquidation expert on again next week. So tune in for that one. If you got questions on sourcing, that'll be a great one for you guys to listen to. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.